Can the Chicago Bulls stay in the win column today when they take on the young, scrappy Portland Trailblazers team? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the content today, y'all. And we got a game. The Chicago Bulls are taking on the Portland Trailblazers today. And this is a Portland Trailblazers team that is below 500. But as I've said a lot with the Chicago Bulls, they cannot afford to overlook anyone or anybody this season at all. The Bulls need to come into this game, and they need to be prepared defensively first. That's what I want to see this team do, is set the tone defensively. This is a Portland Trailblazers team that does like to force turnovers. They do like to get in transition. They are a decent rebounding team as well. If you can do those things where you start off yourself defensively, you rebound the ball well to set up your offense, this is going to be one of those games where you're going to look a lot at the defense to set up easy offense for the Chicago Bulls. And, you know, we've seen that before. That's where the Bulls have been kind of the most successful at times this season, where the offenses look the best when they let the defense set up their offense. That's what they're going to have to be prepared to do today. If they don't do that, it's going to be it's going to be an ugly night for this team. Do not overlook this Portland Trailblazers team. That is the thing that I can say the most when it comes to this game. If the Bulls aren't prepared for this Portland Trailblazers team or play down to the level of competition, something we've seen the Bulls do a lot over the years, they're going to get punched in the mouth, and they're not going to be ready for what this team's going to do if they do that. And that's what we got to see if the Bulls are going to be ready for today. Trailblazers is 6-8 on the season. They'd be the 9th seed right now in the Western Conference. Do not overlook this team. Now, they have some injuries as well. I have not seen any updates. I know last night for them, Jrue Holiday, Jeremy Grant did not play. Let's see. Looks like Jeremy Grant is participating in pregame warmups and does have intention to play today, so that's good right there. Shaedon Sharpe is out for today's game as well. Robert Williams is out. Jrue Holiday is out. So they got some players that are missing in this, especially missing Shaedon Sharpe is going to be big for them. He's their second leading scorer, so listen, and even with that, the Bulls still cannot overlook this team. I don't care who is playing, who's not playing. You cannot overlook this Portland Trailblazers team. I've seen games where they have absolutely looked like a team that's ready to be in the playoffs. And, you know, much like young teams that do compete and fight hard, that they can definitely get the Bulls can get their ass kicked today. Not saying that I'm necessarily predicting that or I want to see that for this team or anything like that. I just know that that when it comes down to this Bulls team specifically, the Bulls cannot afford, they're not in a place where they can allow anything crazy to happen, man. And that's just what it comes down to with this team. And they got to be prepared. They got to be ready for that. If they're not, you know, we'll see what happens, man. But overall, I just hope that this team is ready, that Billy Donovan has these guys ready to go, because we've seen the Bulls already lose to teams that they technically shouldn't lose to, and you don't want to have that happen again today against this team, and it could definitely happen today against the Portland Trailblazers if you allow it to. So let's hope that they're ready, and we'll see what the Bulls are ready to do, man. Overall, I'll say this is a team in the Bulls that we know what they're capable of. We've seen what they're capable of. We've seen what the Chicago Bulls to do to other teams and stuff like that. And it all comes down to them being connected as a team. It comes down to them being ready, prepared as a team. If they do those things, they can win basketball games. You got to play as a team. That is the special part of this team, is playing connected as a team. If you're not playing connected as a team, you will lose. You will get your ass kicked, and you will get your teeth kicked in. And as a team that already went on a 5-game losing streak, you got to start stacking these wins where and when you can. And that's going to be important for the Bulls in this one. It's to just come in here and take care of business, man. That's all I want to see. It's like don't lose leads, those type of things. I know that that's difficult for this Bulls team at times. We've seen it before. They got to be ready and they got to be prepared and they got to stay on their P's and Q's today. We cannot have the mental issues and lapses that we've had at times for this team. If we do, it's going to get ugly. So let's see if they're ready, and we shall see what's going to happen here today for this team. Let's see how you guys are feeling about it, man. Got a meet in the building. Says, yo, what's good, Haize? Let's get this win, bro. Let's hope so. Mio in the building. What's going on, fam? Start the bench. I'm kidding. That is hilarious. Haize, they say Zach Collins have to miss another month. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen that. Give me a sec. Where are you seeing that at? Now I haven't checked stuff in the last couple of hours. I've actually been preparing for the game. So it looks like Trey Jones is not playing. Kobe White's minutes restriction has been up to 26 to 28 minutes, up from the 24 minutes. I don't see nothing about Zach Collins, though, so I don't know where you're getting at, Jeremy. I just want to see this team all the way healthy. Yeah, I'm excited to see this team fully healthy, too. Let's go Bulls, late night hoops, hoping for a midnight victory, man. It's about to be a long night. C-Red. This is going to be a fun battle of Scrappy versus Scrappy, but don't let Denny Advia go off. Listen, Denny is absolutely balling, bro. And, shout out to Denny Advia for turning into what he's turned into as a player because, yeah, that kid is really putting it together, man. And you love to see young players that just find a way to get shit done, bro. And that's really what they're doing. I'll say this too, like for Denny, especially with Shaedon Sharpe out, who's also averaging over 20 points per game, it does give you, well, Jeremy Grant, if he does end up playing today, that's going to give you another player that can fill it up and can score some. But the Bulls just got to be ready for it, man. That's really just what it comes down to. They just got to be ready for it. If they are, then things can go their way. Like, the Bulls are one of those teams, and I don't mean to say this from like an overconfident standpoint. That's really not how I mean this, and I hope it doesn't come off this way. But the Bulls are one of those teams that they can really compete with everyone. I really do think that they can compete with anyone. The problems when it comes down to the Bulls is that, they play down the competition. They lose control of things down the stretches of some games. And they have just some big mental and moments and mental lapses as a team. And you just can't do that. When you do those type of things as a team too often, like that's how you go on 5-game losing streaks, even though you could have been competitive in a lot of those games. And that's what the Bulls really have to look to avoid in games like this for sure. Is Kobe back tonight? Yes, Kobe is playing today. He's on a 26 to 28-minute restriction. That's where they're going to aim to keep him. I really, Chicago Bulls don't come out on no BS tonight. Had a busy day at work. My head hurts. That is hilarious, bro. But that is the life of a Bulls fan for sure. If there is a positive I love on this new process Acme Billy has done is the bench. Smith, Herter, IOP Will, even surprisingly Carter has been impressive. Hope to see Okoro and Jones there too. Listen, Okoro's probably going to start for a while. I just don't think that Isaac Okoro is going to be losing his starting position anytime soon personally. I just don't see that happening. Now, I'll say this. I've been wrong on stuff like that before, so I'm not saying that it's like something that I can't be wrong on. I just personally think that this team that they're gonna really want to wait and see what Okoro looks like playing off Kobe White. I get it. Okoro has not lived up to the thing, even the most modest expectations for himself, right? Defensively, we've been actually better defensively when he's not on the court, which is always a concern when you have a player that's supposed to be a defensive-focused player and you play better defense when they're off the court, but, we'll see. It's about how things fit together, and maybe it comes along. I do think one thing with Okoro is that we're learning he just can't guard up, meaning that he's not really good at guarding positions ahead of him. Like, that's what Lonzo used to be really good at is be able to guard, up. He guards centers. He guards those type of players. That's just not who Isaac Okoro has been, or at least has not shown himself to be for this Bulls team. And that's a little bit of a problem, man. Yeah, that's just a little bit of a problem, and overall they'll have to get that together. We'll see how it's gonna work, and hopefully at some point he plays better for us. That's all you can hope for, is that he's gonna end up eventually play better basketball for us. But I would not be surprised. I'll say this. My bad, y'all. OBS decided to hate on us. Well, it was more so Twitch. I had to try to fix Twitch, and it made OBS crash. But I think we're back. I think we're good. But anyway, to get back on track here, as we lost, using OBS is great. But the one thing I will say that I do miss about using StreamYard is that at least you knew nothing was going to crash. I mean, OBS, there's a lot of kind of moving pieces to things. But I still think it produces a better stream, so we're not going to stop it. I want Vooch to have restricted minutes. Man, listen, bro. I feel where you coming from on that one, bro. Restricted minutes from Vooch will definitely do wonders for this team. I think a lot of people will agree with you on that one. Like, Vooch at this point, I'd play it like this with Nikola Vucevic. And this is just me. If I was Billy Donovan and if I was coaching this team, the way that I would play with Vooch is, if you're playing well, you get to stay in the game. If not, and Jalen Smith is playing better than you, that's who gets to close out the game. Like, if you want to close the game out, then play better. Like, motivate people that way. Now, I know it's politics involved, all those type of things, but Vooch has just been actively hurting us, man. Y'all know Billy's going to give Vooch 34 minutes exactly. Like, Vooch is going to play. Okoro stepped up in big moments. I'll be patient on him. JC should get some burn today too. He balled out Monday. Yeah, I mean, look, as long as Trey Jones is out, Javon Carter's going to have an opportunity for minutes. And while I've talked a lot of shit about Javon Carter over the years, like I said, one thing that I'm not going to do, and I feel like it's weird when content creators, even fans, do this, is that when a player's playing well and you still hate on him because you don't like him. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of how I feel about Javon Carter overall, the purpose in his job out there is to help this team win basketball games. And if he's playing good and helping us win basketball games, what the hell? Why would I hate on that? Like, I went from calling him the ball-headed holder to ball-headed menace. And the part of that is because he's been playing better. I'm not going to hate on somebody who's playing better. But yeah, so I'm not going to hate on that, man. Since Kobe's playing tonight, do you think Javon going to play? Yeah, I think he's still going to have some time. Kobe's still on a minutes restriction. I don't think he's going to be as early in the rotation as what he was in the last game, for example, because it just wouldn't make sense for him to be, right, again, like he was against Denver. But Kobe's on a minutes restriction. They're going to want to protect those minutes. And I think Javon Carter is going to have a big chance there. Vooch is the new catfish now, not Javon Carter. That is crazy. That's crazy work there, brother. People still hate on Josh Giddey simply because he's not an athlete. Well, here's the thing, and I had to come to the realization of this, right? And I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm all in on Josh Giddey, right? Like, I am a Josh Giddey guy at this point. I ain't got no problems for Josh Giddey at all, right? At this point, none of it, right? But I will say this. Because Josh Giddey's game looks awkward, he's always going to get a little bit of hate. Like even when Josh Giddey's cooking, I want to be clear, even when Josh Giddey is absolutely cooking, there's times where his game just looks a little awkward. And I think that people who want to be 100% honest should be able to say that, right? There are times where Josh Giddey's game just looks a little awkward. Now, here's what I'll say to that though. I think people get too caught up in that because the fuck I care if it looks awkward or not if it's going in. Right? That's what I'll say. Who cares if his game looks awkward? Like, there are times where Josh Giddey goes to the lane and stuff like that, and it doesn't look fluid, but he's getting it done. And that's the most important thing. I don't give a shit. I get it. The aesthetics of it all that type of stuff, I get all of that. But when it comes down to it, the name of the game is, are you making your shots? If you're making your shots, what the hell am I caring about anything else for? I think that's what some people got to come down to when it comes down to Josh Giddey, is that it's not always going to look the best. It's not always going to be the most technically sound. It's not always going to be those type of things. But if he's having success in it, then yeah, ease up on him. So, that's just what I've come down to in thinking about it with Josh Giddey when it comes down to some stuff. But overall, I'll just say this, man. If the game, if he's being successful, the shots are going in, and they're playing good basketball, what does all that other shit matter? Guess what? It really doesn't. People just get caught up in the wrong shit, man. His game throw me off to the point I thought he couldn't really dribble. It gets the job done. Exactly. He just gets the job done, bro. And you know what it is that Josh Giddey isn't super fast. Josh Giddey isn't super strong. Josh Giddey isn't super athletic. But the combination of speed and strength that he does have, pair that with the height at the point guard position. This is why when people say things like, oh, we'll move Josh Giddey to small forward. No. Part of what makes Josh Giddey a combination of things work for him is the fact that he is able to play point guard. And let's not even talk about how he makes players better around him, right? So all that stuff, like I said, I understand it, but understanding and agreeance are two very different things. I very much so understand some of the criticism around Josh Giddey. I don't agree with it all, because I think some people take little things of Josh Giddey's game that they don't like, and they try to make it bigger than what it is. At the end of the day, regardless of how fast, how fluid, whatever he is, this man is averaging almost a triple-double, a 20-point triple-double. It's not like he's averaging barely 10 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. He's averaging a 20-point triple-double almost. How can you hate on that? I just don't understand that stuff for the life of me when it comes down to some of the stuff around Josh Giddey, man. But, that's just me, bro. I'll just leave that at that. That's just me. People, and that's just sports in general. People are going to have their things that work for them, that don't work for them. All you can do is look at it and be like, all right, cool. My team's winning. That's what I care about. Are we winning basketball games? That's all I care about. We can worry about all that other shit later. Are we winning basketball games? Haize, do you think if P. Will can be consistent and give us 15 points and 7 listen, stop that. That's not who P. Will is. Like, let's stop trying to make P. Will something he isn't. P. Will is not going to, when it comes to P. Will, the thing that makes P. Will special is that at this point where he is right now, stop worrying about the averages. Stop worrying about him getting up to double-digit points. It's not about that. There are going to be some games where P. Will does score 12, 14 points. There will be some games where he scores 6. But the fact that he is a two-way player, coming off the bench, he can play some solid defense. We saw him guard Jokic on some possessions and look good doing it. That's all I care about. At this point, P. Will he doesn't have the place on the team, and his role isn't at the place where I'm worried about the points per game that P. Will scores. That's just not who he is at this point. And that's perfect. Everybody on a team isn't meant to score double digits. That does not mean that they aren't impacting the game well. It doesn't mean that they aren't helping the team win. And that's where P. Will is right now. He is not meant to be out there scoring a lot of points. That's not where he is. And that's perfectly fine. Because now he's in the proper role that the numbers that he is putting up is perfectly suitable for where he is. P. Will's the 4th or 5th guy off the bench. Let's just be clear. When everybody's healthy, Io's playing above him. Trey Jones is probably playing more than him. Zach Collins, maybe even Jalen Smith now. It's not about that. I get why people do that, but I'll say with this, when it comes down to P. Will, just play really, really solidly in your role. Take the open shots. And when they're wide open, everything other than that is butter. Because, you're not looking at most players' 9th guy in the rotation. You're not looking at those guys to score 15 and 7. That's just not who P. Will is. That's not who P. Will is anymore. And it's just not his role, to be honest with you as well. The thing I appreciate the most about Giddey is the fact that he gets in the paint and fights to get rebounds. Rebounding is an effort and instinct thing. Great point there. Great point. Do you feel they should use Vooch like the Warriors use Horford? I mean, no. Vooch is not as decrepit. This is a bad stretch for Vooch. I really highly doubt he's going to play this bad all season long. I just really highly doubt that. I do think he's going to be fine. Now, fine for Vooch, right? Means that we're still going to see some of the defensive lapses that we see from Nikola Vucevic, but I think his offense will be fine by the season. Rather than the 18 and a half and 10 that he's averaged for the last couple of years, maybe he goes down to 16 and 9, right? But I still think Vooch is still going to be more good than bad, I think, from Nikola Vucevic. Now, it's been bad. It's been very bad. And while it's bad and Jalen Smith is playing good, I think you need to close with Jalen Smith. But I highly doubt that Vooch is going to stay playing this bad for the entirety of the year. I highly doubt it. Bro, why can't we just get the likes proportional to the viewers, guys? Come on. That's never going to happen, bro. It's just never going to happen. People averaging 40% from three, 1.1 steals a game, which is, I believe, is very good. Absolutely. Like, what P. Will is doing for his role is great. Like, and a lot of people have, and I'm going to say that, like, you got to remove, he's never going to live up to the 4th overall pick. He's never going to be, the guy that people want him to be. He's never going to live up probably to the $18 million. But now it feels like the Bulls have found the right role for him. And those 8 points that he's averaging, the 3 rebounds that he's averaging, he's shooting the ball 43% from the field. Over half of P. Will's shots he's taking are three-pointers. He's only averaging 6.2 shots per game, and 3.8 of those are three-pointers. Like, he's playing perfectly fine for what he is. The only thing that I like to see P. Will get up a little bit more is a block. If you're going to be, like, again, I'm fine with where he is if he gives that effort all season long for what his role is. But if you can be the 9th guy and average a block, a steal, 8 points, 3 rebounds, and basically a 1.5 assists, that's a pretty damn good solid back end of the rotation player for you. And that's really all P. Will is meant to be at this time. It's just my opinion. I know not everybody's going to agree with that, and that's perfectly fine as well, but that's just where I sit with the P. Will stuff at this point. This trend to be bad thing for the Bulls with so many opposing players out, that means we lose and they play down the competition or lack of it. They better not. Do not come into this team. Do not come into this team and into this game and play down to the competition. Don't do that. Because I'm telling you right now, this Portland Trailblazers team will punch you in the mouth gladly and steal this victory from you if you come in here slacking. Do not come in here slacking at all. Don't. Be prepared. Be ready to go. Stay locked in. If you do that, you can get a dub. I'm new here. Good vibes, and I hit the like. But appreciate you, Coalition Breezy. We appreciate you, brother. Hopefully you like what you see here. You come around here a little bit more, man. Lee Travis says, I got a question, Haize. Why do teams always have injuries to players and always want to bring them back when they play the Bulls? I don't get it. Well, I mean, they're still sitting Drew Holiday. They're sitting Shaedon Sharpe, who did play yesterday. So it's not all that, but I think that's just the luck of the draw, bro. It's just luck of the draw. Haize, do you see any way for Dalen or Julian to find a way to crack the rotation? I mean, they got to play well. I mean, that's all I can say is they got to play well. They got to be consistent in what they do, and they got to be locked in and ready to go. That's the only thing I can think of. Bro, Josh Giddey's stats are crazy this year so far. Holy shit, I didn't realize he was that good. Listen, Josh Giddey has literally picked up exactly where he left off last season. Y'all remember the last, 20, 25 games? Josh Giddey averaged almost a triple-double. His numbers are basically the exact same, with the three-point shooting being even a little bit better. So, that's what it comes down to. Haize, where did you get this shirt? I got this shirt from, I think I ordered this directly from Michelin Ness is where I believe this one came from. We basically need P. Will to be Caruso, but guarding bigger wings. See, even then, he's not Caruso. Like, I don't think he's even Alex Caruso. Like, Alex Caruso plays with a different level of energy. There are times where Alex Caruso can absolutely put up 20 on you. I don't need P. Will. I'm off on comparisons. I don't need P. Will to be anybody else. I just need him to go out there and be the best version of P. Will in this role here. That's all I need him to do. If you do that, you'll be perfectly fine here. Facts, picked up right where you left off. Michael Myers from Halloween 1 to Part 2. First of all, that is a crazy pull there Shout out to you. Juan Sanchez says, people forget he was 6th overall pick a few years ago. I don't think people forget that, but like, people got to remember, where you pick doesn't all of a sudden mean that you're going to be able, like, what Josh Giddey's doing is not typical of a 6th overall pick, right? Like, but he was picked high because people did see the potential in him. And I'm glad that Casey Johnson came out today as well and said, like, hey, OKC, when they were made that trade, they made it clear that they saw Giddey being an all-star at some point still. And, that's good. To be honest, I'm kind of losing a bit of patience in Julian Phillips, although he was a 2nd-round pick. So his development may take a while, but he has to make these wide-open corner threes. I mean, listen, Julian Phillips, he has a very inconsistent role. And the thing that I always like to give, some leeway to players is that when your role is inconsistent, it's hard to then start being consistent in your performance. It's just hard to do, right? What I want to see from Julian, it's just, you're an energy guy, you're a defender. Go out there and be that guy for this Bulls team, man. Go out there and be that guy. Now, yeah, the wide open corner threes, that's one of the best shots to take in basketball. So, of course, you're going to want that to be better. Nobody's going to fault you for wanting that to be better. But, we'll see what happens there, man. As far as P. Will, as long as he plays defense and doesn't do dumb stuff, we're good. Got to get his trade value up if we can. There's no trade. Like, stop it. Stop it. Nobody's trading for P. Will. No, there's no world in which his trade value gets high enough to where it makes sense to trade him, where you're going to not have to give up. Now, I'm not saying he can't be included as a trade, but this whole people got to play good to get their trade. Y'all got to stop being so obsessed with trade value. Hey, this Bull, do y'all forget that y'all rooting for a team that went 3 years without making a trade? That's still there, right? They haven't all of a sudden changed and become a different team that went that long without making trades. Now, I will say this. The fact that the Bulls have $90 million in expiring contracts. We have 2 trade exceptions that combined total close to $20 million. We got all of our first-round picks. Like, the Bulls, if they wanted to make a move, are loaded with trade assets. But if this team's winning, I think AK has already shown his hand. He doesn't really make trades that can ruin team chemistry. He just typically does it. Portland, Miami, and Washington. Hopefully our Chicago Bulls can win these 3 games. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Melvin, I couldn't agree more. Julian Phillips is scared to dribble the ball. I agree with you, Haize, about not getting an opportunity, but he can't. He actually cannot put the ball on the ground. I mean, that's fine. Like here's the thing. We've seen players that live and thrive off being energy guys that don't have to do a lot of dribbling, right? Like, I think there's something to be said about a role player that it's like, hey, be active, play defense, move without the ball. When you get an open shot, take the shot or pass it. Other than that, take these lobs from Josh Giddey, take these lobs from Kobe, and stay around the rim. And we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, if we win it, it's all good. But if we add depth, it's got to be for defense mostly. I mean, yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. People and Vooch aren't going anywhere unless they're part of a 3-team deal. And even then, like, the Bulls are probably going to have to give up multiple picks in that case if that's what they're looking at. But we'll see. We'll see. Julian Phillips can't shoot. See, that's the thing. Julian Phillips was actually a really good shooter. Like, he was a really good shooter in college. Like, Julian has, much like P. Will, I'm not comparing them as players, but, like, Julian has that Swiss Army knife potential. Like, Julian can shoot. He can get out in transition. Julian was a decent passer in college as well, right? But that's why, like, college skills don't always translate to NBA skills. I think that's something that we've seen as well over the years. It just doesn't always translate one for one. At this point, might as well keep P. Will. At this point, by the end of his contract, P. Will's contract will be a good value. I don't think there'll ever be a good value out of P. Will's contract. Like, not to get good value out of an $18, $19 million contract, then you got to realize how good you have to play. And at this point, it's not about the value. It's just about him playing really good. Like, just play good in your role. Own your role. That's it. Whether you live up to the contract or not, earn your role. Do you believe we can land Isaiah Hartenstein? First of all, you murdered that motherfucker's name. You shade the shit out of Isaiah Hartenstein's name. Next offseason, do you think OKC doing whatever they can to keep him? I think OKC has done what they always do. They have a contingency plan. The fact that they drafted Thomas Sorber, to me, says that they in the eventuality that they can't re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, then they got Thomas Sorber and they hope to develop. Well, I think Hartenstein has another year on his deal after this year. So, we'll see. But hopefully by then the Bulls have their center of the future. That's what I hope for, right? But we'll see. We shall see. Hard when you only play. Exactly. And that's what I said earlier. It's hard to be consistent when you don't have a consistent role, right? And so that's why I say, all Julian has to do, all I want to see from him is when he gets in the game, let that energy roll. Let that energy work for you. And that's it. The corner shot he had disappeared. Julian Phillips, P. Will is a good bench piece. Yeah, but listen, we've been down on players before and they've been able to turn it around. Julian is way too young for me to say that he can't fix it. That's just my personal opinion. Way too young to say that at this point. We'll see. But all right, y'all, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. We're going to be live again and ready to go for the live call during the game. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And catch you guys in just a couple of minutes, about 30 minutes or so, we'll be live for the live watch party. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. See y'all there. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.